podcast episode number 73, I think, has just dropped. It's hot off the shelf. And in this episode, we are going to be talking about what to do or how to navigate uncertainty, which is a topic that we've been chatting about for a while now. But today I share with you something that I learned with Joe Pane, one of my mentors and teachers, very recently, and I couldn't keep it with myself, for myself. I needed to share it with you. So I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I look forward to hearing from you. Welcome once again to the Love Approach Project podcast. This is your host, Laura Gutierrez. And I just want to say I am super happy to be back with you again here. I think I hadn't posted like me talking in the podcast for maybe like a month and a half or a month and 3 weeks, something like that, because I was away. I was in Ireland, and my husband and I were visiting his family our family in Ireland. And then I also got the opportunity to go and see my sister in Berlin. She lives in Berlin. She's my only sister. And so we had 3 beautiful weeks away with a little bit of summer, blue skies in Ireland, which was, for me, it was like unreal. I had never seen that in Ireland. I mean, I think this is my 4th or my 5th time there. And every time we went, the sky was gray. There was a little bit of rain. It was quite chilly. This time it was a very different experience. It was sunny. The skies were blue. It was warm, even though we still had some cold days. But it was a lovely experience of deep connection as well with my husband's family. And you feel that your heart starts to open up a little bit more and flourish a little bit more, and then you have to leave because we live abroad. And same with my sister. I went to see my sister, spent a couple of days with her, just the 2 of us, and then my husband joined us. And again, we had this amazing week of connection. We hadn't seen each other for 4 years now, nearly 5, I think, since 2018. 4, I think. And then again, you are, spending all this time together. It's like an intense dose of connection. But then at the end of that week, then we had to leave. And I'm not going to deny it. It's a little bit heartbreaking when you leave your loved ones behind, when you leave your family, your home country, and you decide to start your life somewhere else. That's one of the consequences, basically, that you are away from those you love. Or, obviously, if your family stays back home or in another country. And that can bring up a lot of emotions, a lot of perhaps sadness, stress, of course, nostalgia, and all these things that, they can lower our frequency. And if we are not aware, they can keep us stuck. So it's very important for us to learn to navigate those moments. Because, I mean, if you live away from home, if you live far away, like I do, this is going to be a regular thing, but we can use this example and, how do you say this in English? Kind of like move it to, or I don't know the word in English, but it's basically, we can use it as an analogy for many other experiences in life, in which we feel that life can be challenging, or that life can be, can bring us lots of things without us expecting it. And we could call all of this uncertainty, actually. Uncertainty as a generalized topic, let's say. Under uncertainty, we can put many things, as I was saying: challenge, stress, overwhelm, changes, breakups, changing jobs, moments in which you feel that you don't have clarity, or that you feel a bit lost or burnt out. And I mean, so many things can go under the umbrella of uncertainty. And the truth is that, and I think you know this already, uncertainty is certain, right? I think we had chatted about that in another episode. It's the only thing that is for sure in life. We are going to experience uncertainty, and it is in our power to learn how to move through those moments, how to navigate those moments in a way that is good for us, that is resourceful for us, and also for those that are around us. This is why, and I'm a true believer of this, building a toolkit of resources is super important. Things that you can go to when you are not feeling your best going through a challenge, or when lots of doubt creep in, or when lots of sadness and heartache come in. All of these moments we need tools that will help us continue moving and going through those moments of uncertainty. Yesterday I was listening, and so I wanted to chat to you about this today, because well, I was reflecting upon the trip, and then yesterday I was watching Joe Pane, but as you know, he's one of my mentors, and I was listening to him in one of his webinars, and he was talking about the 3 different ways in which we can approach uncertainty. And I found this fascinating, and kind of like it made things very clear. So there are 3 different ways in which you can approach uncertainty. The first one is to avoid it. And we can also call it to deny it, to sweep it under the carpet. But usually this approach brings suffering. Now, suffering is optional. That means that there are other ways in which this can be approached, uncertainty can be approached. Now, the second way is to try to go around it. And usually this can look like procrastination or perfectionism. And I love the way Joe said it, that Joe described procrastination as a strategy for emotional regulation. And I thought, wow, that is very clever. Because with procrastination, really what's happening is that you don't want to face, or we don't want to face or feel the pain or the discomfort of doing the thing that we know we need to do, or of perhaps doing it and then not knowing what's going to be the result of having done it and all of that. So we procrastinate and we go around it, right? And we choose to do the dishes instead of, I don't know, sending the email or whatever, recording the podcast. I mean, so many examples that we can all have. And then the third way is to actually go through it. And Joe had this image on his presentation of a person standing at the entrance of a labyrinth. And when you and I mean, the only option at the end of the day is to go through the labyrinth to get to the other side. You could try and go around it or ignore it or avoid it, but that doesn't make the labyrinth go away. Right? It's there. And when you go through it, and this is an analogy of our life, right? When we go through these moments of challenge, of uncertainty, we learn so much about ourselves. It's as if uncertainty has been put in our lives in a very intentional way to help us resource from within, to help us look inside and go, okay, I can do this, or I can bring this from within me. Or it's when you actually discover that you have certain gifts, talents, skills. Uncertainty really brings up a lot of goodness in our life, and Joe says it like this: it's a precursor for growth. If there is no uncertainty in our lives, we are not growing. And if we are not growing, we are dying. Because in here we came to grow every day, to remember all of our innate resources. And so going through uncertainty is the only way. Interesting enough, we do give the other ways a go a lot, right? I mean, raise your hand if you have never experienced or wanted to avoid something, an issue, a conversation, or have procrastinated. I mean, we have all done that. But at the end of the day, I would say, I would dare to say that we also know, we all know that when we go through those moments of uncertainty, when we are courageous enough to do that, we come out the other way, the other side, feeling a lot more empowered, resilient, strong, and fulfilled. We feel happy with ourselves. We feel like we've achieved something. And maybe there was nothing in particular as such to achieve, but just going through that labyrinth of uncertainty and getting to the other end, that is the achievement. And in that journey, you gain so much. And this also, as I share this with you, what comes to my mind also is that when we do this, when we are brave enough to move through uncertainty, to go through it, we become a lot more compassionate, because we understand why people don't want to do it. And we also understand the journey of other people who have gone through it. So this is the invitation to go through those moments of uncertainty. Now, there's one thing that it's very poignant. I think that's a very fancy word. And is that if we don't have the resources and the tools to move through uncertainty, it's going to be a little bit more challenging, because when you don't know how to do it, fear creeps in, and fear freezes us. And so this is why it's so key to build a toolkit of resources, of tools, of practices that can help us move through those moments of uncertainty. One of the things that I've learned studying with Joe is to really stick to those practices, rituals, habits that support you on a daily basis and that give you that basis or that, that support. Let's say, like, if you imagine a building or a table, let's say a table that has the legs, right? Those practices, those habits are the legs, and those legs need to be there all the time for the table to be a table, to stay, there. How do you say this? To be there for you to be able to use it. And so those tools, those practices become the legs. So for example, one of the practices for me, one of those legs, is to always have time in the morning for some breath work or a short meditation, for a moment of connection. I personally particularly love to, what I would call, talk to God, source, the universe. I also talk to my higher self. I also talk to what I call the Holy Spirit. I was raised Catholic and I don't practice it, but I love the idea and what I feel, the energy of the Holy Spirit. But I also love to go for and do some exercise. Every week I go to at least one of the Kung Fu classes that I joined, and I truly enjoy them, or to some Pilates. I love journaling as well. So there are different practices that are part of my daily routine, of my daily self-care. And they maintain me, they really give me that strength and the power to move through moments of uncertainty. When we do and maintain those practices for us, we build our self-esteem, our self-trust, really. We become more confident in ourselves, and and we have our back. We have our own back. to go through those moments. This is when you build these practices, when you continue them, when you do them every day or every week or as often as you can, and and you want, of course, you build in your unconscious this belief that you can trust yourself, and you can trust yourself, and you believe in yourself to go through those moments of challenge, of uncertainty, of change or heartbreak or whatever it is. So this is it. To recap, and I hope I got the message across today, actually, which is really to help you become aware of how are you dealing or navigating or moving through those moments of challenge, of change, of stress. Are you avoiding them? Are you trying to go around them, or are you moving through them, going through them? Are you taking the courageous action of going through them and learning about you, of becoming more emotionally fit, resilient, and of building your self-trust? And second, the importance of having a toolkit, the importance of having a set of practices, rituals, habits that support you, that really strengthen your self-confidence and your self-trust, that strengthen that muscle so that you can rely upon yourself to go through those moments of challenge. Wow, I personally love this topic. I don't know about you. What did you think? I would love to hear from you. I would love to know what it's coming to you as you listen to this. I would suggest that if you can, do a little bit of journaling after listening to this episode. Of course, if you're driving, don't. However, you could do a little bit of one thing that I do actually is that I talk to myself out loud, and that is, if I don't have time for journaling, that really helps me. So you could do that. You can talk to yourself out loud, or you could journal, preferably, to see what's coming up to you after listening to this. And this also brings me to the juicy part, which is events. So we have so many, well, I say we because I'm partnering with a few people for some upcoming events, and I'm very excited about it, because these events are created exactly to support you in building that toolkit, the toolkit of practices, the toolkit of rituals, of habits that can help you move through uncertainty in resourceful ways, and that can help you move forward, grow, release any old baggage, and actually bring in new energy to help you keep moving forward and enjoying life, of course, right? Because that's part of the deal, to be able to move through those moments, and even though they might not be the most amazing moments, we can still enjoy the process of going through them. Okay, so these events, and I want to finish with this, are happening, well, we're having lots of events from here until the end of the year. But in July, if you are in Sydney, I would love for you to join me in one of these following 4 events that we're going to have. So the first event is on the 16th of July. It's a Sunday, 7 a.m. to 8:30, very early, bright and early. We're going to be, we named the event priming the body for recovery and performance. And I partnered with a beautiful, an amazing chiropractor. Her name is Lauren Katage. She works in Refigure Chiropractic, which is my friend Dr. Andrew Callister's chiropractic practice. And we're going to be running this event in which we're going to be doing some breath work. You're going to be learning how to breathe well, how to breathe better, how to breathe to be able to move through moments of stress. And we're going to have ice baths. Yeah, it's going to be cold, but amazing. You know, an ice bath is the perfect example of moving through challenge. And in 2 minutes, after you finish those 2 minutes, you feel like you are on top of the world. Okay, we're going to have ice baths and foam rolling. It's going to be very, very interesting and a very empowering event, that one. Now, the second event, I'm going to be running it with Lauren again. And this time we're gonna have a 4-hour event in which you are going to complete, you're gonna be able to, you're gonna have the opportunity to complete the cycle of stress. What does this mean? Well, it means that when in our day-to-day life, we usually go through the activation part of the cycle, which is when you are ready to respond to a moment of stress, right? And so your heart rate accelerates, your respiration or breathing accelerates as well. And you're ready to either go for a run escape. You're ready to survive, basically. That's part of the activation. I'm using the same words, I apologize. That's part of the cycle of activation in the cycle of stress. But in our day-to-day life, we usually don't have the opportunity to release all that energy, to discharge all that pent-up energy that was created after we got stressed, basically, after we got ready to respond to the threat. We can call it like that. So in this event, you're going to have the opportunity to really integrate, release, discharge all that pent-up energy through breathwork, sound therapy, and chiropractic adjustments. They're very gentle. They're more like you could say an stimulation of the energy that runs through your spine. And Lauren is going to be doing this with each one of the participants at the event. This is going to be actually a very small group. We're going to have a max of 8 people in this event because each person is going to get, treatments throughout these 4 hours. So that's our second event. And then, of course, we have our monthly breathwork and sound therapy event with Dr. Andrew Callister. Again, an amazing opportunity for transformation and stress release. And, of course, Relax, Receive, and Heal, our monthly sound healing, which is what I see now as an entry point to all of these practices of building that toolkit of self-care, that toolkit of resources to move through uncertainty. Okay, I hope that some of these messages resonated with you today. I hope that you find them useful and that they find you well. Of course, I am super happy to have had you here, and I look forward to hearing from you. You can always reach out on my email, Instagram, Facebook, Messenger. I'll be leaving all the links for the events here in the description of this episode, and I look forward to seeing you here, or to seeing you here in Sydney, I mean, in an event, or to see you again when I come back next month with another one of these episodes. All right. Mwah. Lots of love, and I'll talk to you. Well, we'll see each other very soon. Anyway, mwah. Lots of love. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching. I hope you found value in today's episode. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to our channel. And if you would like to follow me and everything we do at the Love Approach Project, I invite you to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Our handle is @the Love Approach Project. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Bye for now.